Let me unmute and put my face on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. All right, everybody, we're back. And I'm gonna re-invite our guest tonight. We got a new meeting code. We got everything new, and we're gonna get you back on here, sir. So here we go. Everybody, this is the side of heritage hip hop that people don't see. And you know what? I'll invite you to it because you see how hard we work to bring you quality interviews and talk to the real who do real things.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
and you can hear him in the background on the phone. We're just trying to get him on. I just sent the new one to you. So when you get a new
All right.
email, jump on that,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go from there.
All right. Well,
Let me get back
I'm just waiting
on.
for it through.
Let me get back on my YouTube.
Yeah. All right. So you just sent a brand new one, you said, right? Wait for it
Yes,
to come through.
yes,
All
I
right.
just
We're
sent a
gonna
brand
see.
new one.
All right. Wait for it to come through and see what's up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's gonna
We're gonna
work.
see what's happening.
Oh, it's gonna work. I ain't even worried about it. See, there you go.
All
Admit
right.
you.
Okay.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Cool. 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 All right. Cool. Cool.
I hear the feedback. Let me turn this down.
All right. Let me turn this down. Hold on. Hold on.
I can hear you. Now you gotta tell
All
me if
right.
you
Here
can
I
hear me
go
through the
right
computer.
here.
You hear me through the computer?
Yeah, I hear you pretty good. Yeah, I hear you good.
Hey, there we go. See that?
Absolutely. 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 Wow.
I'm gonna hang up the phone now. All right.
All right. All right. Peace. All right. Cool. All right.
All righty. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, my brother? How you doing, Kev? I'm
I'm,
doing
I'm
all
all
right.
right. I'm just still trying to get you on. All right. Can you hear me now through the computer? Fine.
I can hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Cool. I want to go back to I want to go back to the YouTube. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We should be live right now. As a matter of fact, um, we should be live right now. I want to make sure that you know that we are live on Heritage Hip Hop. We beat technical difficulties because the devil can't hold us down. Period. You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line is we out here working not only for ourselves, but we're working for the betterment of the total hip hop community. And we thank you for giving us your time. I'm Karev. This is Heritage Hip Hop, where we are more than music. We introduce you to your future favorite artists today, and we pay homage to those who help bring hip hop to a brand new place. And the place that this gentleman has brought hip hop is into the saving capacity from a place where people are left for dead. Please introduce yourself to the people, please.
Maxwell Melvins of the Lifers Group. I'm Maxwell Melvins of the Lifers Group.
I thank you for what you've done as in terms of making life real for people who think they know what reality is. Can you give the people who's watching part of your history so they know what do I mean when I say that?
All right, exactly. Well, you know, I'm from the streets of Camden, New Jersey. I was out there. I've been out in the streets and everything, and you know, I just been out there. I had a hard life and everything, and I served 33 years inside of state prison. I went to prison for killing my best friend. As a matter of fact, it happened over. My best friend had nothing to do with it. He just happened to be coming out of a bar and got hit by a stray bullet. Someone else that I was had a confrontation with, and the stray bullet had just hit my friend. And like I said, he had nothing to do with it. And I had just spoken with him moments before. I hadn't seen him in 3 years. And the guy, I asked him for my money and drugs. He had neither. And I believe I slapped him across the head or the face with a pistol. He took off running. I'm no marksman or nothing. I wanted to make him stop. I was angry, bitter. I fired a couple shots. Like I said, that stray bullet ricocheted and hit my best friend. At that moment, I didn't know anyone that first got hit or anything that night. And I definitely didn't know who. And I seen the crowd started coming over to me to question me and say, "Why do you shoot that guy? He didn't do nothing to you. He had nothing to do with it." And at that point, I got a little, shook, and I took off, man. I went to New York. I just stayed over in New York for about a week or something, and a couple days later, I hear, the guy got shot and everything. That guy died. They mentioned his name and everything. And I said, "Who did what?" And I found out, it was my best friend. So I came, to turn myself back in and everything. And I went to trial and everything, and I never denied what happened. And in fact, if it was if I was the only one there firing that night, in fact, it was my bullet. All right, so I
Mm.
went to, they gave me 25 years of life. I went down to prison. While being down to prison, I continued to stay involved in certain things and be involved for a while. To, I was finally able to wake up and I started thinking about what had happened more. And when I began to think about what had happened more, and I had to say, some good has to come up. This can't all be bad. And in honor of my friends, I wanted to do something with my life and get myself really together. Became a part of the Lifers Group. Lifers Group was actually a group at Rahway State Prison. Most people knew that group there. It's at Scare Straight, a group that started in 1978, which brought juveniles into the prison every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one of the newer members coming in, and it hadn't faded out or anything. But what I had discovered was I saw that a lot of the kids was listening to rap music, and I seen that they was listening to everything these rappers were saying to them. They were as far as hairstyles, clothing styles, and everything. So I wanted to go to my membership, and I told them that I talked to them about it, and they was reserved about it. A lot of them had been in there for 20 and something years, and they was like, man, we ain't messing, like all that. They was like they didn't really want no involvement with it and everything, you know. So we had banquets and different things, and in honor of some of the youth that had come through our program and had graduated, we wanted to buy some trophies and different things to reward them with. And so I reached out to Red Alert Productions, DJ Red Alert, everybody that know him. And I was trying to get some support so I can purchase these for them. And I ran across a guy by the name of David Klein, Funkin' Klein.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him talking stuff, and he kind of said like he knew who I was and stuff. We began the conversation, and he said, "Look, I'm going out." I said, I started talking. I said, I got some guys in here I believe that could probably really rap. And I gave him a concept of what I wanted to do with that project. And he says, you know what? I'm going out right now. I'm flying out in 2 days to be the director of a Hollywood basic label. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, when I get out there, I want you to call me. So, I called him, we was talking and everything. And we talked, and I had talked to some of the guys in the prison. As I said, I was able to convince the members, and they went along with it. And he started sending me some beats in through the mail. As he was sending the beats in through the mail, and the guys started recording on them. But I had first went to the guys and told them, look, this is what I want to do. I would like to do a rap. First, they thought I was out of my mind. That's the basic thing they thought. Like, you gonna do what in here? That's what everybody thought. So, I said I would like for y'all to define. Well, if you had a message to deter somebody from coming to prison or a young kid, what would you do? I would like you to define that on a rap record format for me. And I would like you to define that for me. So they start putting their raps and everything together, and once they did that, I sent the tape back out. No, after they did that, I told them, we had to keep it within the contents of that. We weren't going to do anything different or deviate from what the whole mission was. The whole mission was to save some lives. It wasn't just for nobody to get on the mic and see what type of skills. I don't know what truly was in a lot of their heart. It may have, but it turned into something different. But the whole intention was to try to help reach some of these youth and everything. And as I said, rap music was very powerful because the kids, everybody was listening to it, like the hairstyles, and it was just so much going on with rap at that time, and even parents. So we started back and forth, and we had to talk to the administrator to convince him. We were able to convince him. The only reason we was able to convince that administrator to allow that was because we had ran the Lifers Group Juvenile Awareness Program. And they hadn't had any problems with that. You had kids coming in for years and years and years and years with that. So, it was hard. There was still some red tape and stuff, but that's what kind of really helped promote us a little more in getting in, to be able to do that project. And so, we had did the, still some of the people didn't believe it. They still thought, this guy's out of his mind. Ain't no project happening until they seen the letters coming in from the Walt Disney Company. You
Mm.
know, that's who owned Hollywood Records, Hollywood Basic.
Disney.
So then everybody started to believe more. You know what I'm saying? And then as they was believing, you know, I kind of like became this big guy around the prison. You know, everybody wanted to get on. Oh man, what's up? Yeah, yeah. You know, everybody wanted to get on the project and everything. And
Of course.
it wasn't that type of project. It wasn't going down like that. I had a mission and I had a vision. And I went to the other ones. I mean, it couldn't happen without them. I went to the, like I said, some of the other rappers in it, and I expressed to them what I wanted to do. But it was a vision. It just wasn't about no rap music. As I say, some of them was inspiring rappers, wanted to be rap and stuff, and some of them wanted to go a different route at times and had to be kept on track. No, we're not rapping about this. Is what we rapping about. It's about this. It's about them kids. This is all this is about. And you know, I asked them, you know, would they be willing to, and they was willing to. They, you know, they cooperated and everything, and we managed to do the first EP, which was a 5-song EP,
Right.
and you know, we managed to do that, and you know, we started getting letters. I started getting letters after it had been out a while from all over the country, and parents, you know, letters of accommodation. We really appreciate what you're doing. My son wants to come in. He wants to come into the program. I think this is really affecting my child and different things like that. And you know, as a result of that, the next thing we hear that our 5-song EP had got nominated for a Grammy up against Peter Gabriel, Sinead O'Connor, and Billy Joel for Best Long Form Music Video.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So, you know, they sent all the information in to me for me to attend and everything, which I couldn't. So the press got wind of it. They start coming in, and this is how it all got out in the media even more.
Right.
And, you know, we had all the major TV shows, 2020, Ed Bradley, everybody from around the world, from Denmark to London, press coming in and everything was talking about it. As a
Right.
result of that EP, also, we had people from the Japanese government, the foreign government, and everything wanting to come in and try to do some type of similar program.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so from there, you know, Madonna, actually, that particular night, like nobody was able to go, but that particular night, we sat all in the auditorium and we watched the Grammy Awards on TV,
Right.
and that Madonna, was the winner of that. Now, I didn't have no problem with Madonna winning because there's no way in the world that had I anticipated us getting that far because that's not what the project was about. That's something that
Right.
they did. It's nothing that I did, something that
Right.
they did. So, she ended up walking away with for the Blind Ambition tour. She ended up walking away with the Grammy for that. But the thing that I still thankful for was that I walked away with something far greater than a Grammy award that's probably sitting on a shelf or somewhere in a garage somewhere, which
Right.
was in knowing what the Grammy did for us. It was to further help us spread our word and to get it around the world internationally. So that was something far more than a Grammy. And
Yeah.
like I said, when you seen the letters and different things that were coming in from the parents and everybody reaching out and everything. So, you know, as that happened, we talked about doing a second LP. So we then came up with our second LP, which was called Living Proof, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and we recorded that and we did a couple of videos to that and everything. And again, somewhat the same response. No Grammy, but somewhat the same response. And like I said, when we go to others sometimes, when we have a vision, others don't always carry out your vision. Others go on for whatever reason they go in. But there was no way I was going to let that project get out of my hand in any type of way since they had entrusted me and I wanted to do it again. And it was a bigger picture. It was personal for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I said, like, in honor of my best friend is why I wanted to do it. So I had a different, something totally different than anybody else had. And not saying that they didn't have a good intention or good intention to do what they did. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you this, it was that type of thing right there. And so, we managed to get the second one out. And again, like I said, history repeated itself as far as the kids, the parents, more people started coming to the program and everything. And, that's where we ended up with the second album, you know. And
Okay.
during the course of me being in there and this project. this that project at some times, but I didn't care, had somewhat, it had caused a lot of personal problems with me amongst the population, the officers, some of the other prisoners in the prison
Wow.
sometimes, because you had a lot of people coming out of the woodwork and start doing a lot of hating. Like, who
Mm-hmm.
does nigga think he is? Who he think he is? He think he Mr. Big, this and that because he had that going. Because as I said, if you would have seen the guys that would approach me on the side at times and ask me, yo, when you gonna do another? I want to get down this and that. So, you had, it had become a thing inside the prison, and in prison, your worstest things, you become so many different things. Everything except who you really are to the other guys,
Mm-hmm.
because it's something they don't have. Just like in prison, sometimes you have a lot of the brothers sometimes angered and very jealous when they're not. And I understand it when they're sitting in their cells every week, and some of the other brothers are going out on visits, and their family, other guys' families are coming in different things. They start hating on guys in there for that. You become a little
Yeah.
jealous and enmity, and as a result of that, there's a lot of things that happen as a result of that. So you know, they see you getting along. They see the staff is trusting you with certain things, and then when they see these different things, and they're not having their way with you, you become so many other things. Oh, the nigga probably telling or doing this. It's everything but except what you're doing. They come up with all types of excuses in there. And it's sad. It's really sad. A lot of the things that go on in there, and the things that these guys create in their minds, and the things that they create around their buddies sometimes. And like everybody, most majority of guys in prison, everybody played a tough guy role in there, right? Everybody's not tough in there, man. Everybody play that role, but you walk past some of them cells sometimes, man. You see them guys down on the knees, see them guys in tears and everything, and a lot of them come out of them prisons things wearing that as a badge of honor, as though somebody owed them something. Nobody owe nobody nothing. You know what I'm saying? And when you come out, most guys come home. They, like I said, they wear. Oh, I just did this many amount of years. They wear it as a badge of honor, and the kids see that,
Mm-hmm.
and they starting to really think that you got to go to prison in order to come out to get some respect and stuff. It's just so much, and like right now, we're at a point right now, man. It's just sad, man. It's just a disaster. Everything that's going on out there with our kids, and not just our kids, grown ones too. I'm talking about the rappers and the different things, the chaos, the problems that they're causing out there amongst each other, the killing of each other. I mean, that's sad, bro. That's sad. I mean, this
I,
is
I want to take what you said a little bit because I'll let you go on and talk because it's a miraculous story.
yeah,
But I want to go back to even the basis of it. Hip hop and crime has
yeah,
been tied together because that's what the mainstream media wants people to think.
yeah,
Though, just like crime can affect the community, hip
mm-hmm,
hop can affect the community as well.
yeah,
From you seeing the music hit
mm-hmm,
the waves,
yeah.
what was it like for the prisoners to see that video go viral and people talk?
What do you mean? What was it for the prisoners to see that in there?
Yeah, because I mean, on the outside, right?
Yeah,
Hip hop saves lives. Well,
yeah,
your hip hop saves lives, save
yeah,
lives in the
yeah,
prison and out the prison the
yeah,
same way.
yeah,
I want to know about the people on the because we know you said
yeah,
people called in and tell you how
yeah,
it affected them. What
yeah.
was the effect it had on the prisoners to see that they made positive change? How did that help them
Oh,
psychologically?
well, that most definitely that had most definitely that had a great impact with them. I mean, they walked around, with their heads held a little high and everything because they was giving something back, and they feel they had, you know. Well, I'm gonna use myself for example. Uh, I was a person that mostly, I've always taken from the community and did everything. And finally in my life, I was able to give something back. You know what I'm saying? I no longer was an ass. I was no longer a liability. I became an asset to the community, to the population, everything. But the guys that were a part of that project, they felt real good about themselves. And they started becoming. Most of them started becoming involved with even more programming and different things. They really felt great about the work that they was doing with the Lifers Group. And those guys, they weren't actually lifers. You know, they most of them they were guys that it was a project, as I said, it was a project that we was doing, and we named, it was under the umbrella of the Lifers Group, you know, but they were not serving life sentence or anything, but they were guys that were inside the prison population that were trying to do their own thing and keep their heads together and get themselves together. And anyone just couldn't become a part of that project. And the ones that were on there, that's why they were the ones that were on there, because they were trying to do some of the right things with their lives.
I respect that.
Yeah,
And the reason why I do is because the main thing that plagues our communities and people of color in this country is we have a case of mistaken identity
yeah,
with ourselves
yeah,
and with others. Because even if we look at people in the Nation of Islam, Hebrew Israelites, even
yeah,
people in churches, they're looking to belong to something that makes them feel better about themselves.
yeah,
And fortunately and unfortunately, hip hop has been the therapy and the PTSD therapy
yeah,
to the salve to help us with what society puts on us instead of just um it just being a music. It's kind of like an identity check for
yeah,
people. One of the many jewels y'all dropped. I think it's in Belly of the Beast. I remember that song came out when I was young, and I saw that. I
yeah,
was like, "What the?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It was crazy. And I remember the one part of the song that always stuck with me was the end where it says, "Just like you, I had all the answers. I've been there."
yeah,
And when you're a young person, you take that for granted.
yeah, exactly.
How real is it to when you see people finally wake up to see them change their lives? How real is that for you as a person who did this to make amends for a life that was taken or lost?
Well, I mean, that is, man, that is a wonderful thing. I mean, I don't think it's summed up in one word. I mean, I feel very great about it. For example, I'm gonna give you an example, and when you have a chance, I'm gonna tell you about something that's going on right now.
Sure.
This Sunday, there's a gentleman by the name of Beats who worked with Project Pride, and 36 Mafia, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're doing. I also work with Die Jim Crow Records. I'm the senior advisor, which is a non-profit, the first of its kind in the United States, non-profit record label. We record currently and formerly incarcerated prisoners only. And
Mm.
a lot of their music right now is doing the same thing and allowing everyone in there. We're trying to change the prison narrative through music with that. But I'm just showing you an example. This guy, Beats, said that our music is what kept him out of prison. And he's
Mm.
coming on there, like I said, he's going to come on there Sunday. He's going to talk about that. He said our music has kept him out of prison, helped to keep him out of prison. And that's a great thing. He's not the only one. Recently, I've had people reach out to me and tell me, "Did you know?" I mean, I'm like kind of like at the same time, a couple people came out to me, and these are artists, and said that it helped shape their life and to form who they are today because of that. They said that music had a great impact on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for me, that's very rewarding for me. Very rewarding.
Y'all music did the same thing Marvin Gaye did with what's going on.
Yeah, you
And
think
what it
so?
was caused the community to think differently.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Runt Dog. Runt Dog said peace. He said you the OG. He wanted to give you respect.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Saving lives, it was the purpose of hip hop from the beginning. Because when you hear about how hip hop started, it was out of the gangs, and people get tired of people being killed, and a certain
Yeah.
person from a gang got killed. So the community came together, and people start talking about making a change
Yeah.
in our community. I saw in an interview that you did on Die Jim Crow Records YouTube page, a gentleman was
Yeah.
asking you about how the rappers were talking about in the 90s that they were putting drugs in the community to make black folks or people of color kill themselves.
Yeah.
And it's been no secret that even with hip hop, when hip hop got very positive, the message on the radio started to change away from that. And then as the 2000s stuff came in, it went to the strip club, and I was going to people using and abusing drugs and sex.
Exactly.
You're bringing a balance to the game by using the voices of people who had succumbed to the pressures of life itself.
Yes.
How do you fight to even that out so that your message is being heard and not being lost when so much mainstream music doesn't even play people who are not negative in it itself?
Well, I'm going to say this. When you take the scale and you try to balance the scale, the majority of what you see, as I said, the majority of what you see right now, and all basically what you hear in records now and the rappers, they're basically talking about cars, women, drugs, stacks of money is all they're talking about, and you got a lot. They're giving these kids a false sense of hope and giving them false dreams. And like a lot of them, some of the money that they make, they just happen to stumble upon that. They
Mm-hmm.
stumble upon that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I want to say this. Another problem we have is that corporate America is the blameful out of this because they are the ones that are encouraging that because they see that these people and these kids and everybody are the one that's buying them. They encouraging that, by allowing these artists to get on there with that. I'm gonna give you an example. All right,
Sure.
you go on Instagram or Facebook, for example. You got a little young sister just graduated college at age such and such. All right, then you get two women over here in a fight, tearing each other's hair out. Right?
Yep.
You'll probably get two likes there. You might get
A
a
million on the
hundred
follow.
thousand likes on the other side.
Right.
So it's like our people in our culture gravitate more towards the negativity than they do the positive. You know, and it kind of like tells something about us though. They more prone to get there's two sisters over there that's ripping each other's hair out instead of the little girl and the kids that are no the kids that are selling bottles of water down on the corner to help their mother pay the rent instead of being out on the corner slinging to earn some money to pay the rent.
Well, American culture once again was derived on bloodshed. The
Yeah.
slaves, you remember? I know you know the stories of this. Jack Johnson when he was little, and he used to
Mhm.
blindfold the little black boys, and he had to fight each other in the
Yeah.
ring and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Bloodshed has been what's made this country so powerful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I can't even blame the people who look at that when
Yeah.
we were force fed that even before we were born.
Yes.
I mean, how do you think I felt finding out that you know how girls go crazy for Louis Vuitton?
Yeah. Yeah.
Only to find out that Louis Vuitton was one of the main corporations that had human zoos for black people in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's crazy, right? Yeah.
yeah, even with that, it just goes to show you that the people who are in charge
Yeah.
try their best to keep a minority class, and minority does not mean black and Hispanic.
Yeah.
It means a dependent class on them and use them for their not their services, just say their entertainment.
Yes. Yeah.
But what I like about you and your genius is you took the entertainment and flipped it to save the lives of not only the people on the inside, but people on the outside as well. I
Yeah.
want to I want to ask you this.
Yes.
There's been people who have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
What do you think helped catapult your group to success to even be what was the advantage y'all had that got y'all catapulted to Grammy status when there's even artists who do music that don't even get nominated for Grammys?
Well,
What do you think
I'm
that
gonna
came
say,
from?
I'm gonna say this. I think one of the things with our music was, and I said this a zillion times. Uh, Public Enemy spoke about blackness best. In the early '90s and things, nobody spoke it better than that. NWA, Ice Cube, and them spoke about the streets of Compton best, right? They lived it. They could tell the stories best of what went on in Compton. And
Mm-hmm.
what we could talk about was the everyday reality of prison life because we lived it every day, 24 hours. Some of us have been in there 20 years and everything. So we had that advantage of it. It wasn't like we were just making this up. This
Mm-hmm.
was a reality. Every night, we locked in there. We didn't get no special treatment or anything for doing this music or anything that we were doing. And like I say, we had that advantage over the other ones. And you were saying that you wonder how the other rappers who, they might have done good music, whatever, they didn't get these Grammy. One of the things that helped get this project nominated for a Grammy was the fact of it's not just, the music was great and everything. And if it was just for that, it would have been nominated if it was just for the music. Madonna
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have got that. It was for the uniqueness also. All these things are taken into consideration in the Grammy. It was they just thought there was a certain aura, uniqueness about this project itself.
Mm.
It's for that had a lot to do with it too. And being nominated, that was one of the things that helped it to get nominated. But like I said, it's just that you know people just aren't with that. They just aren't with that conscious music. Someone that's going to educate you to like Tali and Kweli, even different people dropping jewels on these people. They're not trying to hear that.
I
Not
think I think people are willing to
some
hear
are,
it.
yeah, yeah, some
It just
are,
has to be presented the
yeah,
right way.
yeah,
I want to give a shout out to Runt Dog who talked about in the comments. He's talking about mob style
yeah,
that the Paid in Full movie we know about Rich Porter,
yeah,
Alpo,
yeah, yeah,
Jay-Z,
yeah,
that inspired a lot of the look and the feel of hip hop. Yes, it did, and
yeah,
we can't deny that. The
yeah.
only thing I can say is this: I want to flip that conversation a different
Um,
way. Like mob style are the superheroes of the inner city because poor people got to see people with money.
yeah,
Hip hop and MCs are the superheroes of the typical street kid and even the suburban kid because y'all have a gift of using words to touch souls.
yeah,
How dangerous is it a power though where you can use your words
yeah.
and destroy lives with the word rather than saving lives with an action? What does that mean to
You
you?
see how dangerous it is that you could use a word. As you can see, it is very dangerous. As it is very dangerous that you can destroy a life. Using the word of hip hop as well is very dangerous. Look, let me just ask you this: how many of these rappers and different people are getting killed every day? I mean,
Unfortunately, more than one, and more
they
than one.
yeah,
You know.
they're making the money and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's something different just by the words. This guy made a certain word, a claim in a song, or said this and that. People are killing people over something as simple as that. You know, it's very dangerous. But what's even, so the better thing, the latter part of it is what's best about it that those same words, not those very same words, but the power of the words that are coming from some rappers can have the reverse effect. It could also save lives too. It's like a twofold. It can destroy or build.
Well, that's what the Bible says. The Bible says the
Yeah,
power of life and death was within the tongue.
yeah,
You could talk your way into death, or you could talk your way out of it. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And part of what you did though,
Hmm.
because I don't want to go over everything that I don't want to miss
Yeah,
things that you said, but part of
I
what you
understand.
did though was that you laid the foundation for something more to come.
Yeah,
And there are people in the mainstream right now making positive music. Even the
yeah,
baby just had the Rockstar video, and everybody's talking about the George Floyd thing.
yeah,
Let me ask you this, because just like you said, there's hate in
yeah,
the prison. You had to have groupies in the prison too.
yeah. Oh,
How
absolutely.
how were the guards acting when your video
Man.
finally popped on?
Well, I'm gonna be straight up with you, right? At the time myself, right? I was, I had groupies. I had women. They weren't necessarily groupies as far as the type of groupies, the ones that just necessarily say that, you know, at a lot of these parties and concerts want to go home with the guy and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But I had women and friends and groupies that came to visit me from around the world,
Mm.
from all over the world. When I tell you that, I mean that, and most people could verify that. And it's no different. But some of the guards in there, I'm not going to say towards me, but some of them were probably a little, like some of the other guys
Jealous.
had groupie and they was filling them and stuff. Yeah, they was filling them. And that ain't no secret. I mean, even if they weren't from that particular prison, they were in other prisons, but they was still filling. They wanted to meet the guys down there at East Jersey State Prison, Rahway. You know, and it was no different than out there in the streets. It's no different.
The reason why I asked that question is because with certain, let's just say, with certain accolades, the
Yeah.
eyes start to watch you.
Yes.
And I know that if you got hate, if you got
Yes.
love and you got hate,
Yeah.
someone probably tried to remove you, didn't they?
Yes. Many times. Not
Tell me about it.
well. Many times. Several things happen in there. A lot of times. Well, see, number one, the life was used to be. You had to be elected to be in there. Number one, right? You
Right.
can't just be placed in there. The administration guys can't make any claims against you. Administration had nothing to do with. who sat in that chair in the lifers group. That
Right.
was elected by the members.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like, especially after this project took off, well, there were many that wanted me out of the way. They wanted to sit in that chair and they thought, damn, we made it thus far, and damn, if he's out the way, we can go ahead and ride and go the rest of the way. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, that happened. That's no secret in that. I mean, it's a known fact. It wasn't just the prisoners; it was some of the officers too. I had many, man. You just don't have a clue, bro. There, inside that prison, a lot of times, man, there were many inside that prison who had I've done nothing to them, had very ill feelings against me, just because of what I done with that. It had nothing to do with them. I just did what I did. That's what I did. I actually believe that I risked my life for that project to be carried all the way out at times,
Mm.
and I'm not lying when I say that.
I could believe that because whenever there's opportunity, it says the devil is the prince of the air. So wherever you breathe, he lurks because that's
Oh
air that
yeah,
comes from you, you know?
yeah.
And the reason why I asked that is because there were only two projects.
Yeah, and after I left, there was no more.
And that's what I mean. I mean, to do something that's powerful, you would think people would want to see the positive, but we know there's people who take advantage that want to facilitate the negative so good doesn't happen, especially when it affects the bottom dollar.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and bro, it was just very deep. If you know in the hearts and minds of I mean, I'm not saying I'm no saint and ever been a saint or anything. I'm trying to just do the right thing with my life and in saving lives as well. If you knew the true intention and hearts of many of a lot of these brothers, man, inside there, man, it's a shame. It's pitiful. It's just like they call it belly to beast, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of their hearts and souls, brothers, was exactly that, as a beast. No regards for nothing, no remorse for nothing. All they did, a lot of them in there sometimes, is just sit around, connived, and in your downfall and how they going to take you down, and how they going to take you down. And a lot of them ran in cliques in there. You know, a lot of them ran and hid behind religion in there. They hid behind different things in there. Most they weren't genuinely concerned with Islam. Some of them. I mean, but that's not a bad thing because fine, if that's what drove them to that point right there and to help them to start believing Islam and they became true Muslims, then that is great. But I'm just saying, bro, it's just it was terrible in there, and those things still exist right now. You know, I mean, I've been out here for 10 years, right? I've been out here. I think I've been home since like 10 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing a few things out here in the community, and for example, as I said, I work with Die Jim Crow Records, and I work with NOS, New Entry Opportunity Special out of Camden County Reentry Project,
Okay.
working with guys that are coming home. And I've been to Harvard. I've been did different presentations in colleges and schools throughout the United States. With Ralph McDaniel's Video Music Box over at the Queen's Library, and I worked on all types of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And you still get some of that same stuff out here right now.
Yeah, sure.
Trust me, they're around lurking and watching, and they are those. You still have some, that feel, people feel they're entitled to entitlement or something. You owe them something, and I don't owe anybody anything. And like, I really have no fears. I've always ran by myself, no matter what, inside that prison and out here. I'm a loner, always by myself. Because when you're a man can stand alone no matter where you go in this world.
Mm-hmm.
By yourself, with or whoever, you can stand alone regardless. And I've always stood alone by myself, bro. And I just continue to do what I do. I don't let that type of stuff like pull you down. You can't let it pull you down, bro. You cannot let that stuff pull you down, bro, because it will.
I respect your words. I respect all that. Before we get heavy and deep into the music, I want to ask you something about you yourself.
Yeah, ask me anything.
How was your reentry and how long did it take you to get
Wow.
assimilated back into
Man, it took
society?
me, bro. It was deep, bro. It took me a while. Now, I'm gonna say a while, because after I had been out, I got in an accident and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got in, and like when I first came home, man, it was very difficult because I inherited so many different things, issues and different things with family members, my nephews and them going through things, and the very things that I was struggling with trying to keep the other kids out. Some of my family members were going through them same things, and so the reentry process wasn't easy for me at all. But I mean, I struggled and I really fought hard, and it was very just difficult coming out after all those years and trying to just adjust. You know what I'm saying? It was just so, it was still so hard just trying to adjust out here. There were times that I would, I'm gonna give you an example. I would hear a fire truck, right? I used to be down. Well, I was living in Maplewood, and I used to hear a fire truck or something go by. I used to be standing down there with the People's Organization Progress in front of the courthouse, and I would hear a fire truck and all these sirens going by. And I'm carrying the signs. We was marching and protesting down there. All of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm standing there crying and stuff. I couldn't understand why. You know what it was? It was the fire trucks and stuff triggered a certain feeling. Every time I heard them, I say, there goes somebody's life, a baby, a child, a house burning and stuff. So that had, I even had a problem with that. I had a problem with crossing the street because the cars appeared here to me, even if they was back there. So I was like scared to even cross the street for a while. You know, it took me a long while. And, not just that, one of the biggest problems for, coming home, I mean, I have my family there and everything, housing to go. Housing is a very major, the most major problem. Now
Mm,
you can get housing. When I refer to housing, I'm talking about safe housing. Safe
okay.
housing means don't throw me right back down the street on the block where you got these guys out in front of your house hustling, and they're gonna put you at risk because you're gonna try to dress them to get off your steps. And this, I'm talking about safe housing. Housing is a big problem as far as the majority of brothers re-entering society and different things. It's just as you know, a lot of people have become involved in the criminal justice movement right now.
Mm,
Oh, it become a trend. It becomes as anything else does. It becomes a trend, right? Always a trend.
right.
I've been doing the same thing for the last 35 years. You know, and everybody that's pretending that they're doing what they're doing out there, they're not really doing what they say they're doing.
Mm,
You have various organizations out there. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, bro. All they're doing is getting the dough and it's just
money, yeah.
manipulating the people again. They're not really at the gates waiting for these guys, to come home so they can really help them. That's not really happening. It's right now the biggest thing is that in fact criminal justice, prison reform, all these different things are your major issues right now, and everybody's not genuine about that, brother. They're not.
I wanna give you credit for something that you said that was like
Mm,
amazing to me because it made
yeah.
perfect sense. You said the road to rehabilitation is not straight; it's a spiral.
Yeah, change is not straight. Change is a spiral. It's gonna be many twists and turns in that. You ain't gonna
Yeah,
just go straight, right? Like an arrow, like your born arrow. You ain't just going straight where somebody shoot that arrow out. It's spiral. You're gonna go around. There's gonna be many twists and turns and forks in that road, and you might have to go around that. It's just not gonna be a straight walk, bro. You're gonna have to do many twists and turns to get to that point. Many struggles, many trials and tribulations. You're not just going to walk through like that.
so, with what you said earlier, you talked about dealing with PTSD. That's a trauma
Yeah,
that
man.
you had to deal with. How
Yeah.
did you know you broke the trauma and you were able to function in a way where you didn't weren't so traumatized by life as you came back?
How do I know I broke it?
Yeah, how did you know you conquered it with
I
the
didn't say
spiral?
I've said nothing about conquering it. I didn't say I conquered it.
Okay.
I said I've had my dealings with it, and I was telling you certain things that triggered. Like when you hear, certain sounds and things. You're traumatized. You hear certain things. You might jump. You might hear something rattling like the keys of the door or something. It just puts you back in that state of mind. It puts you all back there again. You
Yeah.
might be traumatized by the things that happened to some of your other brothers in there where you watch them stomped down and beat down by the police and all those type of things. You're traumatized by these things right here because there was nothing you could really do for them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I mean, man, bro, there's some very tragic things that is happening there. And I've seen it all in there. In 33 years, I've seen everything happen in about anything. There's not much that I haven't seen happen inside that prison.
And I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
Yeah,
But sir, I will say this. Me myself, I
yeah,
don't care how a man said how tough he is or how he's
yeah,
built for things.
yeah,
Nobody, Mike Tyson said, nobody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So for you to go through what you have
yeah,
and to talk about it with me on here, you
yeah,
have my utmost of respect, and I'm
yeah,
glad you're alive, able to tell
yeah,
your story first and
yeah.
foremost.
Yeah,
I believe when we celebrate Black History Month,
yeah,
you could be humble with it, but
yeah,
that's you could be humble. I'm gonna
yeah,
give you your
yeah,
rose, your flowers.
yeah,
Your story is something that equates to what we study in Black history about
yeah,
overcoming the odds and making a change. So I thank you
yeah,
for your contribution to not only hip hop, but
yeah,
to life in general. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
And I thank you, and like I like the title of this show even, heritage hip hop, heritage. That's a strong word, the heritage,
Mhm.
and it carries a lot. You're not just coming on here and just not talking about no some simplistic mumbling rap or anything. You're talking about some real heritage and everything. And I just thank you, and I'm gonna keep telling my story as long as I see where I'm gonna keep telling my. I ain't gonna never stop telling my story. I'm gonna keep telling my story. If I can see that it's having an effect and impact on somebody's life, I'm gonna keep sharing my story and keep sharing my story. And
Well, I want to say music is what brought us together. So let's
yes,
focus right on the music before we end the conversation.
yes,
Short Life of a Gangster. That's what I
yes,
think the name of the track was.
yes, exactly.
That is the song that made me go, whoa.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I know about the Lifers group. I
yeah,
remember Billy the Beast. Like I said,
yeah,
the end of the song was a bar.
yeah,
Just like you, I had all
yeah,
the answers. I've been
yeah,
there. But your verse in Short Life of a Gangster, and there was another guy with a lighter voice. Y'all were able to paint pictures, and the beats. Not only did they improve with the
yeah,
LP over the EP,
yeah,
I saw growth of the rappers when I
yeah,
listened to them as well.
yeah.
How did you prep the rappers to
I didn't.
make them capable to rhyme on certain beats and get
Well,
them, you know?
what they actually did was some of the guys in there, they had a clue, they had an idea on how to rap. I didn't. My only role in that right there was to ensure that they weren't out of control with the music, because I know that we can go but so far.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they, being a little younger, sometimes they're not trying to hear nothing. They're just trying to do what they're trying to do.
Right.
But you had a couple guys come in. Brother named Hellraiser. He wrote the Hip Hop Hall of Fame song. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's called Hip Hop Hall of Fame. He's from Detroit, Michigan. He came in and they worked with some of the guys and giving coaching and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They did the coaching and stuff. And like the guys that like Divine, you're probably talking about on Short Life of Gangster. Or you probably talking about Justice, the one at the end. But the one Short Life of Gangster was actually the front part. Mine was that part was written by a brother named by the name of Jalil.
Okay.
Yeah, Jalil Jamal. It was written by him, and it's a shame. He had got he was waiting for administrative transfer to be transferred out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame because I think had he been there still, I think it would have been even further much greater than what it was if he was still there, that brother.
Mm.
And not taking anything from the other ones though, but like everybody had their different verses and everybody was talking about their different experiences, and it was their personal experiences in their lives and things that happened to them.
Yeah, the lyrics on that LP are very graphic. We talk about
Yeah,
getting out and going back in
yeah,
to people even being homosexual in prison. It
yeah,
was a very raw take of what I think people don't really understand.
yeah,
I think even this is my opinion. You can
yeah.
tell me I'm right or wrong.
I'll tell you.
I think they bastardize your message by glorifying prison in entertainment. Like shows like Oz
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
really did not. People say, well, I
yeah,
have a cousin that's been through prison,
yeah,
and he says that's not prison. Prison is
yeah.
not like that. That is
No,
not what it looks like.
yeah,
And it made it. And when you talk about people saying how cool it was to come out of jail, I think it's
yeah,
like that because of the PTSD and racism.
yeah,
Back to the music though,
yeah,
when you put that message out
yeah.
and you got letters of people saying their children want to change their life,
Yeah.
how do you continue working with those people who changed their lives through the letters? Did
Oh
you keep
well.
in touch with them? Did you bring
Yeah.
them in to
Well.
help? Like,
Yeah. Some of them, many of them, the ones that wanted to kept in touch. They used to have what you call parental awareness night,
okay.
and sometimes the parents would bring their kids in on a Tuesday night, and some
Mhm.
of the other lifers, the elder lifers that's around, used to sit in the audience, and they used to do one-on-one counseling with them. Still, they would talk to
Good.
them by way of phone and all that. They would do communication of letters and different things. I'm gonna give you another example. I had a kid that wrote me. It's on one of the sites somewhere. And we used to always tell them, look, don't end up like this, man. Don't get a number like us. And the one kid that was telling me about the Maxwell, I hope that you're not upset with me, but I have something to tell you. He said, I have a number, right? I said, yeah. He said, well, you know what? It's not a prison number. It's my badge number. I'm a police officer now. Like
Mm,
different stories and things like that. You heard all type of different stories and stuff. Just like a couple of kids went on to become professional musicians playing a harp and different things like that. There's
beautiful.
there's many that have went on to become attorneys that we received mail back from. I was the attorney that came through with the group of such and such that came through there. This is what I'm doing in my life right now, and I never got a chance to really say thank y'all, but this is what I'm doing in my life right now.
Yo, that's amazing.
Mm.
Um, I wanna continue a little bit with more with
Yeah.
music, and then I want to play a little game which you called the truth behind bars,
All
which
right.
is gonna be a little different. But
Mhm.
you got people that produce your record from overseas
Yeah.
that led to domestic producers
Hiring.
um pitching in.
Mm.
How did that group, they're from the Danish, they're Dutch,
Denmark. Yeah, they're from Denmark.
Denmark, how did they get in touch with you to do the music, and how did that attract um Pharaoh Monch and
Well, I'm gonna explain it
I
to you.
forgot dude.
Yeah, Prince Poet.
Prince Pope, yeah,
Yeah,
Prince
well,
Paul.
the guys from Denmark, Funkenklein, Dave Funkenklein, had actually known about them.
Uh-huh.
Dave Funkenklein was the Caucasian male that was the director of Hollywood Records. So he had known those guys over there
Right.
in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
So he was giving them a shot. He had to learn, because he traveled around the world. He written for several magazines as well. Funkenklein, he written for all the rap magazines. And like I said, he actually worked for Red Alert Productions at the time, so he knew them. Now, Frau Menarche and Prince Poetry, I believe they were somewhat related to by the name of Casualty, who worked on Hollywood Records. He was one of their cousins, if I'm not mistaken. But I know that Dave also was familiar with Pharrell Minaj and Organized Confusion because they were our label mates. They were on Hollywood Records themselves.
Okay.
So that and I think Funkin' Klein like their production on other projects like Fudge Fudge. I don't know if you remember Fudge Fudge they did and all that. Yeah, he kind of like they production work and everything. So that's what led them. He wanted a different twist on it. So that's how Organized Pharrell Minaj and them got up there to produce that right there. And and the guys from Denmark, I say, because of David Funkenklein, that's how they came in. And as a result of them coming in to produce the Lifers Group, they became very successful. They left from us and went out to Cali and produced for Easy and Ice Cube and all of them. If you check them out, they went from there and they became producers for Easy E and Ice Cube and many of the rappers out in Cali.
Wow. So you started careers full swing.
I can't say if it might have triggered it. I can't say I started. That the thing that we did there, yeah, it brought people together. It brought a lot of
Okay.
people together. Most
Are,
definitely brought people together.
are you in contact with any of the members of the group now, and are they still doing music at all?
Yeah, there's still members out there. Yeah, periodically I talk to a few of them and music. I believe they're doing some music. You know, I believe they
Okay.
are. Yeah, I've been in touch with a couple of them, but yeah, I believe they're still, trying to, get some music together and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you know, hopefully, they'll be successful and succeed, because it's out there. If you really want it, you're gonna go and get it.
Yeah.
Can't nobody hold you back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is the time to do it. Donald Trump brought the knowledge of free intertrade enterprising business back to the forefront with his presidency. Because if you were a have rather than a have not, you got, and now people have the means to get. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So, tell me about Die Jim Crow
Yeah.
Records
Uh,
and what is the goal working with them now?
the goal, well, I work with them, and one of the reasons Die Jim Crow record exists right now, somewhat had to do, being a record label, had to do with the Lifers Group. Fury, a young who's the executive director, is he's you know he, well, this is how me and him came into contact. He was familiar with us, the Lifers group and everything. Fury reached out to me on Facebook. All right, me and Fury became pretty close and everything, but it was just basically about Arch and Die Jim Crow. Was the organization itself was actually started. What triggered him to start that was because of the book that Michelle Alexander had written.
Okay.
That's what triggered him to start the organization Die Jim Crow. Because she had the new Die Jim Crow, and so that triggered him to do that. And he had went into the prison and had already recorded a few guys. Now that Die Jim Crow becoming a record label just happened. We sitting around going through different meetings and stuff, and we were talking amongst us. And Fury, myself, BL Sherrill, BL Sherrill was talking, and we decided that you know to change the prison narrative through music because you got people in there with so many different stories to tell, and they're telling their stories in their own words, with their own voices. Nobody's telling them stories for them. And like music being so universal in the art, and when you hear all these other things about prison, all they do is put bad label on the people in there. But when you listen to some of the stories on them records and everything, you hear the real stories of what's in people's hearts, the gentleness and all that. All you hear that there's savages and beasts and different things in there. That's all you mostly hear. But the label, that's how that label actually began. Sitting around, and it became the first United States nonprofit for formerly and currently incarcerated. And what we did this year, Dodger, because we did something I think was very amazing. We sent probably about 30,000 face masks inside these prisons. Sent some in
Mm.
the Rahway and several other states. Right now, like we have something coming up this week on Dodger and Pro. We have these benefit concerts and stuff. Various people and artists come in, to support the work of Dodger and Pro. And as long as they're able to do that, you're really helping these guys when you go inside these prisons and you're recording them and different things. You're really helping them. You're giving them a chance, man. You give them hope because
Yeah.
that's what's been taken away from most of them.
For
But
everybody out there watching, I don't mean to cut you off, sir, but everybody out there watching, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share this video because this is important information. And now we're going to transition into the second part of this interview that leads us into the outro. And I want to thank you. Can you give everybody your social media so they could keep up with you
yes,
and help out?
exactly. If they care to, or on Facebook, I'm Max Melvins. On Instagram, I'm Melvin782. And on Twitter, I'm Maxwell Melvins. And, I can be reached by, Maxwell, M. Melvins at dodgemco.com as well, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we put that in the description of this video
Yeah,
because that's very important. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw your name when I went to go see the Can't Forget New Jersey premiere years ago,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I was watching Amazon Prime, and I saw it again, and I was like, your story needs to be shared on my platform. I
yeah,
don't care if I get 4 views or 4,000 views.
yeah,
Something that I needed because
yeah,
it's inspirational
yeah,
not only for me but for the people who may have never heard this.
yeah,
And through your experience of life, I want to ask you questions. I usually call them the rapid fire questions, which
yeah,
is about music. I want to ask you something about society and get your honest, pure feedback on how you
yeah,
feel, which I know you're going to give me anyway.
yeah,
My first question to you is: since the pandemic
yeah,
has dropped,
yeah,
it seems people in prison have been forgotten,
yeah.
and
Again,
people
already.
and people are leaving them for dead. Even in Mississippi and Alabama, I think they were protesting because the conditions of the prisons were so bad
Yeah,
that they had a little mini riot and they were or had a riot and people were getting hurt in the prisons.
yes, true.
What have you seen since the pandemic that you will want to call attention to for people to remember the folks that are incarcerated and what they're going through?
What have I seen? Like, for example, just in the prisons, like, wow, just one of the things I believe it was in, man, Ohio. The brothers, when they didn't have no mask and they were scared to death, and the prison wasn't providing them no mask and everything, and they're just being terrified, man. They were just terrified to death. That was like, not knowing what was going to happen to you, in my opinion, and observing from the media and different things and the videos that I had, it was like they was boiling water right up under them. That's how
Mm.
terrified it was, like with them being afraid of the COVID itself. It's like they were holding them over big boiling pots with hot water, like torturing them with that. So much uncertainty, and a lot of guys did die here, even in New Jersey, because it could have been prevented. There was a lot of things that could have been prevented. They didn't care enough to. They didn't care enough to. And the system just really didn't care enough to. And when they started to release these guys, it was pretty much starting to become too late because it had already become a public safety issue. You're letting them out at the same time. Then they were letting them out without testing them, just throwing them out in the street with nowhere to go or anything. So it was like one of the most chaotic things that one of the most chaotic things that I've ever seen in history with that. They just didn't know which direction to go with that. It was just out of control. And there are guys and people still suffering from it, still dying from it every day. You
Wow.
might not be hearing as much because the media is not playing
Not
it, but
covering it, right?
yeah, but there's those issues and different things out there in blogs that are still, giving that information.
So let me ask you this: we have this thing in the hip hop community that some people believe in and some people don't believe
Yeah.
in, which is the no snitching policy. How do you feel about that?
There's no snitching policy.
Yeah, because a lot of
Well,
people seem to think that if you from the street,
yeah, yeah,
we know. All right, look, I'll put it this way: if you're
yeah,
from the street, there are
yeah,
certain rules and codes that you follow.
yeah.
But if you're not from the street, you shouldn't be talking about street business in a way where you put yourself into it. But
Well,
that's not snitching
yeah.
in certain circumstances. What do you think as a part of what you've seen with people coming into prison or dealing with things in
Bro,
prison with the no snitching policy?
I'm gonna say this. Let me say this to you. You always have, like in prison, everything. That's one of the worst things that can happen to you in prison of having that label put on you as being a snitch. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the worst things that can happen. And people and your fellow brothers and inmates in there use that all the time against you when they don't like you and care about you to possibly try to get you hurt. It's
Mm-hmm.
not only the brothers in there that do it, the cops do it when they don't like certain guys. They will put that label on them to get a guy moved because of the way a guy looked at him or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
me personally, whatever anybody do, that's on them. It has nothing to do with me. And yes, I've heard that many times what you just said, that people say, look, if you're not a street guy or whatever, and you abiding citizen, you going about your business every day. And you going about your business trying to live your life right there. You don't have to live by nobody else's code. And that, even that shit with the street code or whatever, anybody can do anything they want to do. They can do anything they want to do, and everybody always making this claim. But you know what? You would be surprised of sometimes who the real snitches are. You know who the real snitches are a lot of times?
So,
The toughest ones, the ones that pretend to be the toughest ones sometimes, like they're the baddest and tough ones, or they always want to pretend. They are
mm,
some of your biggest snitches. Some of your biggest drug dealers that's been out on these corners and everywhere every day are some of your biggest snitches. How
mm,
do you think they've been out there so long, so many years? So people put up all
mm,
these facades and you ain't supposed to do this and you ain't supposed, but they say that until it happens to their family members. They telling everybody that until, somebody in their family head get knocked off or whatever. And then, it, it's, well, they say a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? People,
yeah,
it's just so much is always said. There's no one way of anything.
right,
Everybody got their own opinion. Everybody entitled to this. Anybody can do what they want to do if that's what they choose to do.
right.
You know?
Well, the reason why I asked is because I
Yeah,
believe no snitch culture is real. I believe if you are a man and you choose to do something, you have to own up for what you did.
yeah. Well, this is the thing. If you want, I mean, you claiming to be this and that, and that,
Right.
well,
If you
accept the
claim it, you live it.
responsibility. Yeah, I mean, accept it. No, what they do a lot of times, they let somebody else fall, or they want somebody else to fall for them.
Right.
But you were the tough guy out there doing that, living that, and this and that and that. Accept your own weight or whatever.
Right.
If I'm riding in the car right now with some dudes right now,
Uh-huh.
and I've seen a lot of situations like this. The guy, it could be the guy in the car. He will let the next guy get, and it wasn't even his. The owner of the car, he put it on the other guy, and was like, it's all types of stuff. People talk that talk,
Yeah.
but they all don't walk that walk, man.
Well, Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis
Yeah,
Farrakhan,
yeah,
salute.
yeah,
He says that this generation is the strongest generation that we've had as people of color in this country. What advice would you give this strong generation so that they can make the effectual change to make sure we keep people out of trouble and lead into positive directions in their lives? What would you tell them?
To genuinely start loving each other and helping and looking after each other is the strongest one that I would tell them. You know, he says they're the strongest, and I don't. Do you know any particular reason why he said this was the strongest? I mean, because this is the generation that finally somewhat stood up, and
Yeah,
I'm saying all they have to do is start. Just start loving their brothers, man. Showing more care and concern.
I
And
think
building their communities.
I think the reason why he said this
Yeah,
community, I mean, this generation is the strongest, is
yeah,
because this
mm,
is the information age.
yeah,
So as
yeah,
long as you got a phone,
yeah,
you have the information right there, and we didn't have to go to the library. Or you don't. Or this generation doesn't have to go to the library to depend on what's
yeah,
being told. They could find it themselves.
yeah,
So that right there, plus the fact of this is the age of the entrepreneur. More
yeah,
people are
yeah,
finding self power without depending on the system.
yeah,
That it's a lot of power with these
yeah,
young children becoming millionaires and business owners and CEOs at the age of 12 and 11 years old, while
yeah,
other people had to go to the city to be rejected for their business IDs and things of the past.
yeah. Wow.
So salute to our generations coming up. Salute to
Yes,
people like um,
absolutely.
Brother Ben X and Riza
Yeah, yeah,
Islam,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it is you got Erica Lachey, I believe her
yeah,
name is. It's so many people out there that's doing things in the communities that's
yeah.
for not just forcing change but influencing change
Yes,
the
yes,
same
exactly,
way.
exactly.
If there's one thing that the Lifers group gave the world, that the
Hmm.
world that it can never be taken away, what is that from you think?
One thing that we gave them that nobody could ever take away. I tell you this: hope, hope, hope,
Okay.
hope. You know,
Okay.
yeah. You can't let faith and hope. Because you know what I learned? One thing I learned: anything is anything is possible in this world.
Mm.
Anything is possible in this world. Just like they didn't think my project was possible,
Mm-hmm.
it became possible. There was a will, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a way was made, and it happened. So I truly believe that if there's a will, there's a way, and hope and faith, and that I believe anything in this world is possible. Anything.
All right. I
And
got two.
I appreciate being on here, bro. I thank you for allowing me to, bring me on and everything. I appreciate it very much. And at some point, hopefully one day, you might have some Jim Crow's artists up here. He has some very good artists on there.
I have an open door policy. You don't have to be on the
Absolutely,
Billboard 100 as long as you got a story to tell.
absolutely.
I love the fact that you give me the opportunity to talk to you and
Yes,
document your story.
yes. All right. And like again, I say I appreciate it very much, my brother, and thank you. And I mean, it was a little difficult for us in the beginning, but we managed. You say we're gonna get this. You say we're gonna get this
Hey,
on.
I believe in you like you believe in me. We do it together, you know.
Yes, absolutely, bro.
Let me ask you this question. I got
Yes,
two more
Cat.
questions. I got two more questions, and
Yes,
then
Cat.
we're gonna have a good night and we're gonna peace out.
All right.
One of the questions I wanted to ask you is this, and it does refer back to the music.
Yes.
How do we support and how do we make sure this died Jim Crow and the
Yes.
Lifers music lives on, and so that new artists can do it too? How do we support it?
Yeah, so that new artist lives on. As I said, like they have projects for people to see. The Some of the same people of the Lifers Group music and died Jim Crow music are people that has who's been through the revolving door. Some are still there. And how do we support it? It's for people to become a part of it. Like as I said, they have campaigns, they're raising funds to go in there and record these people and to get their messages out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like as I said, Die Jim Crow, the music in Die Jim, there's a diverse amount of music. It ain't just about no rap or nothing. You might find it's very diverse. That label, I mean, you'll hear some of everything on there, whether different genres of rap or whatever. So it would be nice if the people would just continue, to believe in them and to listen to their voices and that these people are willing to change and many of them have changed. And most of them have discovered the change that comes in it. The music has helped them change because music does change lives.
Yes, it
Music is a
does.
universal language,
Yes, it
and it
is.
does help save lives.
Yes, it does.
It changed life because look, we can be anywhere. Music can take you back to a particular girl you was with. You remember what you had on that day. You
Hmm.
remember where you was, if it was raining, whatever. Music is very powerful, bro. And I love music myself. It's very powerful. I really love music.
You know what? You kind of sponsored another question. What was the name of the other group that came out of Rahway State Prison?
The
It was the
escorts,
Lifers,
escorts.
the Escorts. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. You have a brother Reggie Himes. He just passed a few months. The lead singer.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he just passed a few months. Yeah, the escorts. They were the other group that came out of there. And I think, in my opinion, they were one of the best. As far as that "Look Over Your Shoulder" song, they was one of the greatest groups there was too, bro.
Salute to the Escorts and everybody like me
Exactly,
who love music. Go check out who the Escorts are. That's
exactly,
very important that we keep our New Jersey
exactly,
history alive. You know.
exactly.
I got to the last question of this interview. I hope my interview style and everything was good. I hope you enjoyed yourself in the conversation.
It was perfect, bro.
Thank you.
I feel,
I didn't want to ask the same questions they asked on the other interviews. I saw
yeah,
your
yeah,
TED talk and
yeah,
everything, so
yeah.
I didn't want to do
But
that.
I think it was very perfect. I think it was just, it's more like freestyle and
Hmm.
like sometimes they ask you a question and some of the people trying to tell you what to say and stuff. You just sit back, you ask the question. I just think it was all right. I was very comfortable with it.
Thank you. I
And,
appreciate it.
yeah, you know.
So, my last question is this: I usually ask people, "What is your legacy that made the world better because you did music?"
Uh,
You answered that already by saying hope and
yeah,
believing that anything is possible.
yeah, yeah,
I want to ask you a different question
yeah,
because I want to honor you for the man that you are.
yeah.
Is Max Melvins one of the best unspoken producers in hip hop history?
Mm, am I the best?
One of
I,
the best. One of the
I was,
best.
I would say, in my opinion, I'm not gonna say I'm exactly reducer, but I would say yes, the best because I put everything in that I had. Yes, unspoken. Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
I
I
put
wanted you. To,
everything.
I wanted
Yeah,
to tell you.
I tell you, I put everything in that.
I wanted to tell you. You said on the interview that you may not make the beats, but
Yeah,
you bring it to the label.
yeah,
When you look at hip hop back in the '90s, especially when we had album covers,
yeah,
it would say on the inside beat made by and then
yeah,
producer. That was two
yeah,
different people.
yeah,
You are a producer. You are on
yeah,
the level of a Puff Daddy, a Dr. Dre, a Rico Wade, a Mike Will made it for young people, a Hit Boy. You were
yeah,
on that level, and I wanted to say thank you because
yeah,
yes, you deserve those accolades. And like
yeah,
I said, for Heritage Hip Hop, we celebrate our greats, and you
yeah,
are a New Jersey hip hop great. So thank you for your contribution.
yeah,
Thank you for what you stand for, and thank you for inspiring people like me who may not have ever touched that life,
yeah,
but you give us the will and know how to know that whenever you have a dream,
yeah.
work on it, and anything is possible, just like you said.
Yes, absolutely, my brother. And thank you, and I appreciate you, for allowing me to come on. And as I said, hopefully, down the future, some of the Jim Crow artists, we will reach out, and I think you would definitely love speaking with some of them.
Well, guess what? We connected. All we gotta do is make it happen. You know,
Exactly. All
you
right,
know.
peace. We gonna do that.
That's right. So for everybody out there watching Heritage Hip Hop tonight, thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well, so you know when these great interviews come, and share this interview. Make sure you follow Mr. Melvins and support Die Jim Crow Records. Go to the website. If they have a sign up, just sign up to know what's going on and what's out there. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? So with
Exactly.
that being said, this is Karev at Heritage Hip Hop getting a shout out to Runt Dog and everybody in the chat room. Brother Everlast, we got
Mm,
Triple P. He said, "What's up?" Exit only 6601.
mm,
We all said, "What's up?" So to all y'all, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for leaving comments and liking. And with that being said, we say peace and we
peace.
out.